Hey everyone, and welcome back to Joy at Work, where we talk about the things you and I can do to experience more joy in the workplace. Spend a lot of time at work, so I think it matters, and hopefully you do too. Always grateful for positive feedback, for people who watch videos, leave comments. Thank you all. Thank you. It's a labor of love in a sense. I've been doing this since COVID. Continue to do it for as long as I can. We'll see. World Cup fever, it's here, it's upon us. Who do you have winning? Even if football is not your sport, check out a game, watch. We'll see what happens. I think the Spanish are gonna win it, but the French are pretty good. So we'll see. We'll see in a few weeks what it looks like. And if you can get to a game, get to a game. The prices are ridiculous, but I'm not even going to talk about that today because I want to continue to talk about workplace incivility. And the last time I shared some thoughts on this, I think spoke to people in positions of power and asked them how are they showing up and how might they be acting uncivil towards people that they work with in the workplace. Do they even notice when they're rude, when they cut people off, when they punch down, when they say language that is demeaning? Like some people are completely unaware. And hopefully, if you watch this video, like if you're in a leadership position, you pause to just really reflect on how you show up. And often, like I said in the previous video, we give people a pass. We say, well, that's how they are. Like that's Eb's personality. And as if being rude is something that should be acceptable. So this was sort of the precursor to workplace bullying because that's a much bigger and much more damaging sort of set of actions that happen in the workplace. But incivility happens more than we actually know. And I just offer it up because we're human. We all like act uncivil towards each other occasionally. But when it's repeated, when it's continuous, when it's almost chronic and in nature, then something else is going on. And we've all worked with people who are like that, especially in tense situations. They just become very mean and very just wrong. And that's not okay. We can't look the other way. We can't keep silent. We shouldn't keep silent. And we should not accept that in the workplace. So how do we respond to that then? Well, there are two basic categories of response, I would say. The one category is if you're on the receiving end of this incivility, if you're on the receiving end of it, it's being able to give the person feedback. And this depends on the relationship you have with this individual. So even when there's an imbalance in the power dynamics, like it might be your boss or your superior, if you have a good relationship with them, you might be able to pull them aside at some point and say, hey, you repeatedly do this. Actually, I should have started off with this. Sometimes we just need to know when somebody's having a bad day and they just act it out and just let it go. It doesn't make it acceptable necessarily, but when it's out of character, then sometimes we just gotta let it go. As someone once said, I think William Jason said, the art of being wise is the art of knowing what to overlook. So sometimes overlooking might be the right response. But if you need to respond, then sometimes you need to respond and you need to take into consideration the relationship you have. And if it's somebody you have a great relationship with or a decent relationship with or a relationship where you can tell them like the way you speak to me, the way you cut me off, the way you punch down, it's not helpful. It doesn't amplify what we want in the org. It's diminishing on the other hand. And that's a response you want to bring to the table. You want to be able to say, hey, you spoke to me or spoke to us in this way, and this is the impact it's having because you continue to do it. So that's when you have a good relationship with the person, despite maybe the power imbalance. But what about when the relationship is not there and there's a power imbalance? This is your boss, and you just don't know how to approach them. This is where it gets tricky. And this is where there's probably several responses that'll be too long for this video to go over. So I'm probably going to stop here because I don't like long videos. I like for these to be bite-sized. People can watch and move on. And I'll just recap and then hopefully that'll be helpful. So next time we'll talk about how to respond in situations when there's a power imbalance and the relationship is not one where you feel safe enough to give feedback. But when you do feel safe enough to give feedback, give the feedback in a constructive way, and as best you can, move on, forgive with grace. All right, experiencing joy at work. Let's be civil towards each other. If you're a perpetrator of workplace civility, cut it out. And if you're on the receiving end and you have a good relationship with the person who does this routinely, find a way to give them this feedback for you and for others. And hopefully, we can all experience more joy at work. See you soon. Enjoy the World Cup. Don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss a new video. Bye.